I've been a GP working in Penticton for the past 30 years. I've recently had to retire. In the past 17 years, I've treated hundreds of patients for alcohol use disorder using a different approach than the one I had learned in medical school.
I'm the father of 3 children, a brother of 2 sisters, and a son of a elder in our community here.
When I went through medical school, I was taught that alcohol use disorder was caused by people's moral failing, weak character, bad judgment, bad choices.
I'm Suzette Cohen, Joe Cohen's mother. I've raised him mainly on my own. And I come from the same addicted family, alcoholism, and also have 35 years of sobriety myself. Son wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Jeff's recommendations of them pills that he took. I used to pray every day that he would quit drinking because his life was so hazardous when he was drinking. He was so out of control.
I appreciate Jeff bringing that into our lives.
Thanks so much for trusting me, Joe. Do you remember the first time we met?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you were 15, you were shot.
Yeah, I think you were sewing me back together. I remember coming to you broken multiple occasions.
Had read an article in The Lancet in, looking back, it was 2003, and it was about a study done by an American researcher, and it showed that a number of people who were alcoholics benefited from taking a medication called topiramate, and many of them were able to stop or substantially reduce their drinking.
I started the medication, and right after quit using alcohol, it was instant. Like the same day.
It's unbelievable. I can't even mention it enough that it happened so fast and you don't even know when it happened. That's the thing. And I'm thinking, oh no, he's going to relapse. Oh no, it didn't happen.
When you tease out the different ways that people have experienced alcohol, how they experience not having alcohol, how they feel, some people are anxious, some people are angry, some people are agitated. Some people begin drinking when they're 13 years old and it grabs a hold of them very quickly. Other people don't seem to have any problem with alcohol until they retire or have some life event, some traumatic life event. Whatever their personal sort of story is, you can glean bits of that will help you understand which of the meds that they would need.
For someone that used it, for me, it took the edge off and gave me the ability to just not use it. And eventually it took away all cravings. Everything associated with withdrawal and cravings. It gave me the ability to move forward with my life in all aspects.
People can see the difference in his life. He's very cultural, very spiritual, back to his roots. He's hunting, he's fishing, he's serving his people like the elders used to do. There's no magic. It just worked. It's not something you would learn in a treatment center. It's not something you would learn in an AA meeting.
There's such a disconnect between what the science is telling us and what's actually being used on the ground, that it's a huge chasm of ignorance.
If you go into your GP, general practitioner, and say, identified as a person with alcohol use disorder, the chance that you will get an appropriate medication is less than 1%.
Well, you'd think it would be the first option to give you. Too bad it's taken so long. Like, how many lives have been wasted without it?
Just wanted to say hi and follow up on my visit there and how things are going.
I could not believe the moment I sat in there and I started listening to you and what we were learning, and I know that everybody else felt the same way, because it was so amazing, it was so eye-opening, and there was so much hope.
Hope is such an important part of them recovering. For them to have hope and for people around them to have hope.
Very emotional. For me, it's emotional because when you see people out there suffering like they're suffering, when there's really no need for it, when you can actually help them with that physiological part of craving long enough to help them to have their thoughts and hearts and minds cleared enough that then they can take the journey of, mental health wellness.
The reason I'm involved with Dr. Harry's is because of my daughter. She's 41 years old and she's been struggling with alcohol use since she was 16. All my life I have never allowed alcohol in my home. The only time it comes in is when I'm doing my Christmas cakes, and I soak all my fruit in alcohol for a few days before I make the Christmas cake.
There's something called kindling, and it makes the more times you go through detox, the worse your symptoms become the next time you go through withdrawal. And at some point, it becomes very much a barrier for people to even try and reduce their drinking, because they're too frightened of how horrible they'll feel when they do go through withdrawal and detox.
We tried several times with our daughter, and then she would go back to her pattern of drinking again, her method of coping. And the last time it happened was a couple months ago. She had went on a really bad binge. She had to be hospitalized, and we brought her home with us for a couple weeks. And Colleen mentioned that maybe we might want to reach out to Dr. Harry's. She really likes Dr. Harry's because he doesn't make her feel guilty or ashamed that she's struggling with a disorder. She likes the term disorder rather than disease. She says, "Mom, he's so respectful." And she's just so excited that someone would do this just out of the goodness of their heart. And I don't want to get emotional. It's been hard as parents. It's intergenerational, but it skipped me. I want it to be the generation in our family that stopped it, and I haven't been able to stop it yet. We're hoping now, and she says too, "Well, Mom, maybe it's going to be my generation that finally stops."
One of these 6 meds will work, and it's a matter of choosing the most likely one, and that likely will work. But if it doesn't, you don't kick the person to the side of the road and say, "Tough luck." You wouldn't do that if someone had pneumonia. "Oh, penicillin didn't work, tough shit, next."
Sometimes it means just stopping my vehicle and opening my window and just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And then doing that same thing. I mean, they might not take it today, they might not take it for another month, but at least it's there. They know there's this other choice they can make if they decide to. So that's basically how I've been spreading the word or the message.
Jeff was diagnosed with ALS in May of 2 years ago, actually. Probably this month, 2 years ago. And so the urgency to get this story out there has sort of accelerated a bit. And
well, you are our gift. Always remember that you are our gift. Yeah. When you can help change and open the hearts of people to offer them life, right?
it is urgent. In the same way, I think for patients, AUD patients, this is a time-sensitive issue.
The positive outcome of that medication is my son's life. Thank you for giving my son back.